practical applications of all things that you said, especially just writing on what code character has said, using a role model. Um, I'm an engineer by training and an educator by passion. And many times we hear a lot of ideas, we hear a lot of things about this is going to disrupt, talking about disruption, but this is going to disrupt the education space, this is going to disrupt learning and development. This has been the testimony, this has been the story for over 100 years now. When Walt Disney came up with motion picture, they came up with very interesting numbers because they are not exactly scientifically determined. They said that it was going to disrupt the learning space because now children or learners learn 98%, although they'll accumulate 98% when they watch videos, but they only accumulate 2% when they read books. Very bold, audacious numbers just to sell a new technology, to sell a new development, right? And as much as that happened over 100 years ago, we are still seeing different advents, the advent of different thoughts have made people begin to say, oh, this is such a disruption, this is such a disruption. But when we boil it down to its essence, when all the chips are down, what still remains is that there are fundamental truths about how learning happens, about what constitutes deep and powerful learning. And I've spent a huge half of my career and my life just trying to understand that and create something that can actually be like a tool that can really be helpful for people who are contemplating this. And I've narrowed it down to a specific application in homeschooling, specifically and especially for this conversation, so that we can have this conversation within a box, within a context. And then hopefully when we properly understand this, we can escalate it into, we adapt it into different areas that we face. Now, when I was in primary 3, my father bought his first car. That car brought so much ease to our family. And I like the fact that after school, we didn't have to wait as we used to do before and then join some neighbor or boss or something to take us to a place where we'll get home. And my father would just drive by and take us home. It just was so sweet for us. And I remember way back then, before I knew how to pronounce the word, I wanted to be an engineer. I said, I want to be an engineer. That's how I pronounced it at the time. And one my uncle came by and asked, many of us would ask children around us to say, what do you want to be in the future? And I said, I want to be an engineer. Because actually the word is engineer. And then, what kind of engineer do you want to be? And I said, I don't know. The people that make cars. So, that's a mechanical engineer, he said. Then, okay, that's it. I want to be a mechanical engineer. And fast forward, when I was in FF3, I got admission to the course that I wanted. I know I'm one of the few people in Nigeria whose destiny was not changed by the jam. So I got mechanical engineering at 5 years. And a few semesters, first 2 semesters, one of my friends studied with us in Nigeria. And she got a scholarship, she got an admission to go abroad to study. Now, when she went, she did 1 semester, and the second semester, they began programming. They began writing code with Python programming language. Mind you, she did 100 level, she left after during second semester 100 level, so she went to start again. So ideally, in a normal situation, I'm supposed to be her senior. But she started again the following semester. She was writing code. We were teaching them already about programming. And we were doing same engineering, although not mechanical. She wasn't even mechanical, but was still in the engineering course. And I got to have my experience in programming when I was in 300 level. I brought somebody in this. Yeah. I had my experience in programming when I was in 300 level. And the programming language that we were introduced to was Fortran. I have brothers in this thing. Now, for those of us who don't know what Fortran is the programming language that was used to send Apollo to the moon, right? And as the programming language, it is, for want of a better word, is obsolete right now. Very, very few ancient organizations use it up till now, like IBM and organizations banks that's the infrastructure they were built on. So they would spend millions, for example, to train 3 or 4 people to be able to understand that, and then maybe not 3 or 4 people, just train a few people so that they can actually those systems running. Right? It's cheaper than having to overhaul. Fortran is doesn't have any market, as much market relevance as other progressive programming languages. But yeah, that's what we are learning. And we're learning it. I learned Fortran, I got an A in that course. And I wrote programming instead of paper. Yes, that's how I learned to code. Now, all of them happens, and the third part is that because it was a passion for me, I didn't just go up to the idea because well, the 9K. It was just a childhood dream that pushed me. I felt betrayed. I felt bad. And at 300 level, I just let go. Right? So, I don't want to hold this. The point of the story is this. Before I get into something that will take longer than I would hope to. The point of the story is this. There's a lot of things that they learn or that makes for deep and powerful learning. And many of those things don't have to be so complicated. They don't have to be complicated. How would it have been? Imagine with me that the primary 3-year-old or primary 3 boy Caleb got introduced to the system, or my father had enough equipment, he's equipped enough to be able to not just support my passion or my philosophy, but also create a system where I can thrive. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I probably most definitely will not be where I am right now. As we look at our situation now, we may be very quick to just assume the position of, for me or for you, I wish I had that. But then something very similar is about to happen with people, especially in the area of education. And I get the story about the disruption earlier, right? So that I can drive the point that as much as disruption has been a gospel and been great, especially in education space, for many years now, I personally believe that what we are experiencing now significantly in the disruption. It's a disruption because now, more than ever before, parents have both the power and then the movement of different moving parts are come to the point where parents are empowered to create a technical and very real impact in the children's development journey, even if they have no idea what the children's passion are. For example, artificial intelligence can teach you how to teach. Artificial intelligence can not just teach you how to teach, it can create a system independent of you that creates that emphasis. Now, why this is important is because parents, as a parent, you have, if you pay attention enough, because I understand it can be very quick, chaotic, living and working and everything, but as a parent, you have all the materials that you need to properly understand your child. You are in the best position to understand certain tendencies and inclinations of your children. And using that understanding, you can create a personalized learning experience, not just for academics. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Just applying what Coach Carissa said earlier about there's this big innovation that you are probably going to create yourself. If you're thinking maybe you want to create something that can compete at that level. But then there's something unique that you can create, something, your unique story. Nobody can take it away from you. Your experience that makes you better present something that makes you want to create some kind of emphasis. That is unique, that is rich, that is for you. And you are able to now amplify using technology and make the most impact using technology. So I will round all of that up to say a story. While I was in 300 level, I decided that I would rather do something to affect the education system Somehow my passion for engineering, I would say disappeared. Right now, I'm working at an engineering firm, so it is very quickly, I was telling my wife earlier, some time ago, it's really very quickly coming alive. But between, let me say, 2 months ago, before 2 months ago, if you tell me that I'll be saying this about engineering, I'll probably not say. So, but I shifted my focus towards education, and I began to make investment. Now, I learned really fast. I was able to do a lot of things because the drive was intrinsic, and all the time, right? I'm trying this out. The drive was intrinsic. One of my students, who was Abdul, wrote to YX without reading. And somehow, they were preparing for you. Now they had internal mock and then the internal test. So, the internal test was going to be in a few months. So, they had finished one, and the father was not happy as the way he treated that. I had this little evening meetings for kids, and this child comes in, this young boy was in 14-year-old, 15-year-old at the time. And we get talking, and I asked him, okay, so what do you want to do? He wants to study computer science. And we just had this talk. Not really, I didn't know so much about project. I just had a talk with him. He went home, and the next thing I heard, he empathic, his father comes knocking at the door in my house. Said, "Oh, you just want to see me." And I don't care who wants where. He said, "No, you just want to understand the kind of conversation I had to start." I said, "Okay, I don't understand." He said, no. He just wants to know because he has talked a lot trying to get his son to read for YF at the roads. But then he came back from work and his wife told him that their son has been reading since morning. And she went to him and said, "What did you do wrong?" I said, "Nothing." Don't talk to me. What is this? Nothing. What are you doing at the reading? What are you reading? I'm reading this book. You had the exam? No. Why are you reading it? Well, we should have said that you read it. Like, okay, wow. At the time when I was looking for that, I had no idea that I told him to read anything. Wow. Right? But I was able to connect something that he wanted to do to something that he needed to know. So for him, that learning experience came because somebody knows him, somebody on account of the conversations of Ghana was able to create a curiosity or hunger for him to want to learn something. And then he went back home and did the others by himself. No coercion, no pressure from anybody. The drive was intrinsic. Experience. This, I didn't give him any idea at the time. It's quite a while. I feel old. But it was not AI was not what the one know of us. It was not mainstream as things right now. What parents can do beyond academics, things that you value. Jonathan was speaking so passionately about reading. Different people have spoken very passionately about virtues that we believe that are important for people to have. You can use, and I will not be able to in this time, my time is up, show you specifically how you can, but I want to tell you that you can actually do so. Create a systematic way to make emphasis, especially for the children, and that's why we're talking about homeschooling, around you that can leverage their interests. And develop that interest not be a window, a doorway to the world of knowledge that they need to have. And in essence, that's what personalized learning is about. Personalized learning being from a place of understanding and then creating something valuable that they can drive you. Thank you very much.